For the sports gamer.
Welcome back, sports gamers. It's The Natural. With Madden 18 being officially released for over a week now, I want to take the opportunity to sit down with one of the gameplay analysts with EA Sports, Will Sykes, who was formerly a tournament player that has been with the development team for over 3 years now, to really cover all of the facets of Madden 18's gameplay and not only give you guys further insight into the new gameplay mechanics and the development, but also help you improve at the game. Can you talk a little bit about the improved smoothness, and as well as like the ball carrier moves? You know, they're not new, but they're so much smoother how they, control and the players move this year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so to your first point, with just the way that, the ball carrier moves this year, it's definitely a lot smoother. That's something that, was actually sort of an unintended effect of switching to the new engine, was you get this, better locomotion with the running back. And then to add on to that, with the new ball carrier moves, they both kind of combine together to give you a whole new experience as far as running the ball. So like you mentioned with the ball carrier moves, all those have been updated. The animations have been sped up. The fake out chance has been sped up. And also now, as a user on defense, you can get faked out. That's something that I'm already seeing a lot of feedback about, something new this year, where as a user controlled player on defense, you can get pulled out into those fake out animations. And I know people are already kind of saying, hey, that sounds like a little overpowered. But we put in a couple of things that should help you counter that in the open field. One of those being, if you're strafing, you can't get faked out. So that's a good practice. If you're in the open field strafe, and you don't have to worry about it. Another cool thing that we added is conservative tackle. There's a window in every ball carrier move where you can use conservative tackle, and if you time it right, you can make sure you don't get faked out and you'll make the tackle. So, wow. I know in other years, and I was kind of guilty of this too when I still played the game competitively, is it was kind of like a tactic to just spam the A button repeatedly with conservative tackle until you matched an animation. But you're not going to be able to do that this year. It's much more timing based. So, overall, all those changes kind of combine to give what I feel like is kind of like, the best experience to date as far as, running the ball and, kind of the chess match on defense.
And what about people kind of flying in with hit sticks like past years?
Well, it's going to be a lot tougher to do this year, that's for sure. I mean, I've been playing the game for, 7 or 8 months now while we've been developing, and I would say at least 2 or 3 times a game I still miss on a hit stick in the open field. We made it so when you dive this year, you don't get, kind of like tractor beamed into a ball carrier. You're going to dive at whatever direction you're facing. So even if you're off by just a little bit, you're going to miss the guy. And, that can be the difference between, a big hit and a touchdown. So it's a lot different this year for sure.
Yeah, as far as the ball carrier movements and moves, they look really great. How do you feel about people saying that, ball carriers should have their own individualism, and, and how McCoy jukes is a little bit different, how, another running back jukes, and, can you talk a little about that, having more individualism in the moves themselves?
Yeah, so I know, I just mentioned how we sped up all the ball carrier animations, but we still made sure that it's tiered out appropriately. So if you have a guy, let's say with like 70 speed, compared to a guy with, 99 speed, the animations that those guys are going to play are going to be completely different. There's 3 different tiers of each move, so depending on where your guy's rating is for each one of those moves, you're going to get something completely different.
So as far as keeping on the running game, the wheat box is one thing that's been talked about. A lot of people have seen the effect of it. It seems like in the past years it's been a big thing with past defenses like Quarters and Dollar being able to stop the run. Obviously there was a change made this year. You can see that it's much easier to run against those. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so last year we developed something called the weak box system, where We detect if there's not a lot of defenders in the box, and if it's a run-heavy formation that the offense is in, we tune some things. And so that actually went in last year, and now obviously, seeing competitive guys, still able to get away with running dollar, quarter, throughout an entire game sometimes, we decided, hey, we still need to iterate on this. And so what Clint decided to do ultimately is tune up what we did last year. So now hopefully it's at a spot where you won't see someone able to stop jumbo heavy out of dollar, quarter, or any of those pass heavy formations.
Do you feel that's it's a bit overpowered, and do ratings of the defensive players factor in if they get pancaked or not?
So, I mean, as a competitive player, I do like the idea of making it to where someone can't just run the same defense over and over, especially in the context of a pass-heavy defense versus like a run-heavy offense. As far as that, I think it's pretty fair as far as the results you're going to get, which is, making people call different defenses depending on the offense. And then to your other point, the ratings are not going to matter as far as what gets tuned. So, for example, a 60 rated guy is going to get the same hit to his ratings as an 80 rated guy. It doesn't scale, if that makes sense, but every player, will still react differently. Like if a guy, has 90 speed or whatever, he'll still fly in faster than a dude with like 70 or 80, you know what I mean?
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes. I sit down with Will to discuss and break down target passing, ID the mic, pass rush, and more in Madden 18. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and drop a like, and if you enjoy our coverage of all of your favorite sports games, subscribe. This is The Natural with SportsGamersOnline.com. I'm out.